So hello and welcome to a rather cold new Junction. Now, as you can see in front of me, I've got a nice piece of MDF which has all the sort of shapes cut out of it for the Heritage Line platform station. It's here. Phil of Making Tracks fame has finally drawn it up and cut it for me, which I'm very grateful for. The template fit. All we have to do now is build this up and see if this fits. So as ever with all MDF kits, you pop all the pieces, sand any of the burrs down, and then, if needed, a bit of persuasion. So I'm now going to get on with this. I'll probably time-lapse this bit just so it's quicker, and also means that I don't have to talk to you, because if I put my diesel heater on, you won't be able to hear me anyway. So I'm now going to get on with this, and as you can tell by the fingerless gloves, it's rather cold in here. I think it's 2 degrees outside, but nothing stops progress. Let's get on. And there we go. As if by magic, these have come together very quickly and very simply. Now, these are only the beginning. I have also got all these extra sort of bits, including this piece of detailing. Now, these are the various layers of the side bricks, which will go along the edge, excuse me. Now, they'll go along the edge and just build it up nicely and add much needed detail to the sides. But before I go down that route, I'm, as you can imagine, very eager to get these on the layout. So come with me. So moving back to the layout, we will take up the paper template, which is what was the basis, believe it or not, for the platform kit that Phil did. So it was a satellite design, as it were, so I'll get rid of that over there. And then we'll bring in the pieces. Now, because this is a modular layout for exhibition eventually, and for practicality, there is a lovely baseboard join right in the middle to allow for the baseboard join that's right there. So the position we have to line up with is this line, has to line up with the line in the baseboard. So if I put that piece there, I don't imagine it to line up perfectly first time round. We're already mounting the track at the front just here. Then we'll bring this piece up. Oh, I don't know if you can see, but we're slightly overlapping the track both ends. It's almost a bit lopsided. So switching to aerial cam, you can see there's the baseboard line, which have to line up with. That dictates the angle of the entire platform. So as you can see over this way, it's just pushing it over the track. So we can bring the whole platform down a bit, but there's definitely a requirement for some fettling of the track work. So that's what I'll do now. I'll dig up the, I mean, none of this track is actually glued in place. Neither is the cork, because I knew this would come. What I'm going to do is undo the track pins, and we'll have a jiggy about with the track and see where we end up. So I've done a little fettling, and I have a couple of options. So this line that's in the baseboard joint dictates the angle of the platform. Now, in a perfect world, it would go exactly where it is now, which is slightly off skew. So the station will overlap ever so slightly on this board. We're talking 5 mil on one corner, and it's lined up on the other. So my options are, I either have it at a slight angle so that the whole thing can go together, and we'll just have to be careful when we set it up at an exhibition, or, I mean, I could be sensible and leave this platform loose. We'll see how it goes. I was actually going to I could fit them with magnets as well. That's another option to keep it in place, and then I could take it off for exhibition. So I think that's probably what I'll aim to do, because the other option is have it straight, and then the whole track system has to shimmy this way, which is fine apart from the approach over here, which would have an unnatural kink into the station. We could have this line join this one and turn the points around so that it has to sort of come in to get to this line, but I don't think that would work so well. I actually like this just because I can get on. So what I think I'll do is I'll lift the last couple of trap pins, and then using my trusty spacer, which dictates how far apart the lines are, but also dictates how far away the track should be from the platform, I will put it in place, and we'll see how it looks. Right, so we're roughly in. A couple of things I had to do there is this piece of track at the back here, that just disintegrated. It was cut into many pieces, so the rails came away from the sleeper, so it was better off just replacing the piece of track with a new length. So that's in. That's hopefully gone all right. And then the front, of course, luckily it all just sort of shimmied and reshaped without too much trouble. I'm going to need a bit of fettling just to smooth out the curves as they settle. And of course, we'll test it with the both. Something tells me I'm going to be endlessly fettling with this platform for a good while yet. So I guess getting it in position once it's painted is going to be key, and then sticking it down. Right. The other important thing that I need to grasp, not just the flow of the track, is the relationship between the platform and the roadway. Which, if I bring you slightly closer in, you can see the platform slopes off like a normal platform. However, this will be somehow there'll be some steps here. Now, if I use a piece of plywood, as long as the steps reach the flat edge, that works perfectly to give me maximum sort of space on the scene just to come into the platform. And I've just got to work out how to not only have I got to build some steps up to the road, but I've also got to account for the drop off of the platform, which could be quite fun. Should be fairly simple with the laser, for example, because you can just draw it up based on photos. So I'll take a photo side on, and then I'll draw something up to make it fit. And there we go. The platform is in, roughly speaking. Now I'm going to get some electrics plumbed in, and I'll bring you further updates once the electrics are in, and then we'll get some trains running past it, because we've got to make sure things actually go past it. It's all right having a couple of coaches, but we want to make sure particularly things like cylinders on steam engines go past it. So there'll be some vigorous testing going on, playing trains. But otherwise, I'm generally quite happy with the scene. It's coming together quite nicely. It's not too overpowering. I think once we've married the scene together with the steps and things, it'll really start to come together. So there's a few odd jobs I've got to sort now. So power, get it running, finish off the platform, get it primed and painted. I'll get this retaining wall finished and levelled up properly. Currently it's at a slight angle because there's a gap straight beneath them all. As you can see, they drop away. I'd like them to be perfectly vertical. Then we'll get the bridge and the stairs underway. The road will continue, and we can focus on the crossing here, and of course the shed area a bit further down there, which I've been having some thoughts about. So again, coming down the layout to this section, which is, that is 4 foot from there to there. And it's a nice space, but I do think it needs something adding to it, just again, to add the play value, because the main line's great, but it's roundy and that's it. It's nice to have a bit of play value here on the heritage line, which was the entire purpose of this second line. I mentioned in the last video about a depot. Now, most heritage lines have some form of depot. Now, it's not traditionally the original engine shed. It's normally a prefabricated building, which is sort of on the site near a station, just to do all the works on various locomotives and firing steam engines, etc., etc. So I thought I could stick a point in and then quite easily have a 2 or 3 line depot building here, maybe not quite a single story, but not quite 2 stories, just so it doesn't take away too much from the scene behind. And in a perfect world, it would be 2 locos deep, each siding, maybe have 2 in a depot and 1 on the outside just to store some things. Luckily for me, I've still got, there's a nail there, I've just touched it, ow. Luckily for me, I've got a nice distance here and here to be able to extend this board, and I've also got some spare plywood. So it'd be fairly simple to fill this gap, get rid of all my mess, and have a bit more space to bring out the scene. Now, what I would do is I'd look to continue on the walling that I've got. However, I don't want the tall block walling anymore. So what I'd probably work to do is to reduce it to half height and then have a sort of grassy mound down to it. Just add a bit of colour and a bit of green scenery again as the scene goes off that way. Nothing. I don't want to be too green because it's not the countryside anymore, but then also I don't want to be too heavy on the urban scene because it'll start to take over the scene. However, that's my thinking currently. What I may do is just sort of plan some things out and just sort of I'll put the base in anyway, but yeah, we'll see how that lends itself, because it'd be nice to have a sort of a shared various stock lines and fueling point, etc., all the traditional things you get on a model railway. So yeah, that's a thought for this space. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. And there we go. Progress as always. We try and keep the progress going here on the layout. As I say, I'm still printing walling because there's a lot of you at home have bought several pieces, and that's keeping the laser on. It takes about an hour to cut one, so with all the brickwork and things. So that's slowing my own wall building down. But thank you very much, as ever, to everyone who's got some. Now, I would traditionally add some running footage, but you may notice there's not been particularly much running going on anywhere on the layout in this video. And let me show you why. We've had a little accident further down. Right, so coming down the layout, the reason I can't have trains running today is because we have a slight power outage, and that is caused by this. The wet stuff. Can you believe it? Now, luckily for me, everything is raised off the floor, including the layout, which are on raised feet. And this isn't Lulu getting old and getting excited because new Junction's in the room. This is actually a frozen water pipe, as it turns out. Luckily, it was only dripping. So as you can see, through all me recycling mess, so this was a big pile of dry cardboard ready to go to recycling. However, it's not anymore. Those of you who follow the New Junction Facebook page will know that I have treated myself to a new one of these things. So basically, I have hot water. So as I'm filming this, I've had warm water in the unit for about 48 hours. However, this tap, the pipe feeding to it, has split in the cold. So it's ever so slightly seeping, and yeah, it's caused me mess. So it turns out we have a slight leak, and I was extremely lucky to be able to find it when I did, because it was obviously only just starting as I turned up this evening. So I will say, as ever, a big thank you for the support from yourselves for watching the video, the channel patrons, YouTube members, etc. Your support this time will be going towards some towels and a mop bucket, I think. So thank you as ever for watching. Take care, and I'll see you hopefully very soon in the next one with more progress. Oh, and trains running. Bye.